Hare Krishna everyone, we are continuing to read the Teachings of Lord Kapila, the book by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are recording from Calcutta. We have come here to celebrate Radha Yatra for 10 days. So yesterday, that's why I couldn't publish the episode, and tomorrow we shall read for 2 days. Today we shall read for 2 days. So let's just start reading the 16th chapter, where we left off. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, should be accepted as one's best friend. He will never cheat. He will always give his friendly advice and protection to the devotee. If Krishna is accepted as a son, he will never die. Here we may have a very loving son or child, but the father and mother, or those who are affectionate toward him, always hope, may my son not die. But Krishna actually never will die. Therefore, those who accept Krishna or the Supreme Lord as their son will never be bereft of their son. In many instances, devotees have accepted the deity as a son. In Bengal, there are many such instances, and even after the death of the devotee, the deity performs the Shraddha ceremony for the father. The relationship is never destroyed. People are accustomed to worship different forms of demigods, but in Bhagavad Gita, such a mentality is condemned. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different forms, such as Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram, and Radha Krishna. Thus, one will never be cheated. By worshipping the demigods, one may elevate himself to the higher planets, but during the dissolution of the material world, the deity and his abode will be destroyed. But one who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead is promoted to the Vaikuntha planet, where there is no time, destruction, or annihilation. The conclusion is that time cannot act upon devotees who have accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as everything. Wow, such a powerful statement, isn't it? Spiritual life is eternal. It cannot be destroyed. Whatever we have here in the material world is subject to destruction. In this material world, we aspire for a nice house, good property, children, friends, and riches. But ultimately, all of these will be destroyed, including ourselves. Nothing here is permanent. Therefore, everything is called illusory. Actually, we do not understand this. We take all this as permanent. The fact is, however, that only Krishna is permanent. Krishna's material energy is not permanent. Mayavadis think that in the material world there are no relationships. However, in the Shastras, it is stated that in the spiritual world there is real life. Life in this material world is simply a shadow of that life. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this material world is likened to a banyan tree with its roots above and branches below. This means that it is like a shadow. When we stand beside a reservoir of water, we see the tree reflected upside down. We also have the experience of a mirage in the material world. We think that there is water, but actually there's none. Sometimes sailors at sea think they see land, but actually this is a mirage in the water. This material world is like that. In our lives, we think we are enjoying some rasa, some relationship. Our children are calling us Father, and we are enjoying our relationship with our wife. But all of these relationships are like shadows, although people have no information of this. The true enjoyment derived from these relationships can be attained in the spiritual world with Krishna. Krishna therefore comes in person to teach us that we can enjoy the same relationship with Him. We can enjoy Him as our master, our friend, our son, our father, or our lover. The Mayavadi philosophers say that if Krishna has become everything, there is no question of Krishna as an entity or a person. This is a materialistic idea. If we tear up a piece of paper into small pieces and throw it away, the paper no longer has an existence. However, Krishna is not like that. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha. Quote, I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, still the same original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Unquote. Brahma Samhita 5.33. Krishna has many millions of expansions, and he is also situated in everyone's heart. He is not only within human beings, but within animals, trees, plants, aquatics, and so forth. It is materialistic to think that Krishna has no individual existence. If he has entered into so many millions of hearts, even though Krishna has distributed himself in many millions of parts, he is still present in the same strength. Krishna is Sarva Ishvarya Purna. He is never diminished. There is an interesting story of a poor boy who was a student in school. During an annual Father's Day ceremony, the teacher requested the students to give some kind of a contribution. Formerly, teachers would not earn a salary, but would receive whatever the students would bring from their parents' homes or by begging. Generally, the brahmanas were teachers, and they could not charge anything. Thus, some students brought the teacher rice, and some students brought other crops. This one student was so poor that he could think of nothing to bring. Therefore, he told his teacher that he would speak to his mother first. After school, the student told his mother, "My dear mother, all my classmates have promised to contribute something to the teacher. What shall I contribute?" The mother replied, "My dear son, we are so poor that we cannot give anything." However, Krishna is the friend of the poor. If he gives you something, you can promise it to your teacher. "Oh, where is Krishna?" the little boy asked. "Well, I understand that he is in the forest," the mother said. Therefore, the little boy went to the forest and called for Krishna. He then began to cry, and finally Krishna came. When a devotee is very eager to see Krishna, Krishna is so kind that he comes. "So, what are you asking?" Krishna said to the little boy. "You are the friend of the poor," the little boy replied. "I am very poor, and what can I promise my teacher?" Krishna then told him, "You can tell him that you will supply him some yogurt, some dahi." The little boy was very satisfied with this, and the next day he went to his teacher and said, quote, "I will supply you as much yogurt as you need." Unquote. The teacher felt that this was very nice, and he was pleased with the boy. On the day of the ceremony, the boy again went to the forest and called for Krishna. Krishna appeared and gave him a quart of yogurt. The little boy took this yogurt to his teacher and said, "This is my contribution, sir." The teacher looked at the quart and said, "What is this? Hundreds of people will be coming, and you have only given this much yogurt?" The teacher became so angry that he spilled the yogurt out of the container. When he bent down to pick it up, he saw that the container was again full. He dropped it again, and it was again full. He could then understand that it was spiritual. This is the nature of Krishna. One can take everything, and yet the same will remain. In the material world, 1 minus 1 equals 0. But in the spiritual world, 1 minus 1 equals 1. Jai. This is called Advaita Jnana. There is no duality in the spiritual world. 1 plus 1 equals 1, and 1 minus 1 equals 1. If we love Krishna, that love will not be destroyed as love is in the material world. In the material world, a servant serves the master as long as the servant is pleased, and as long as the master pays. Okay. The servant serves the master as long as the servant is pleased, and as long as the master is pleased. The servant is pleased as long as the master pays, and the master is pleased as long as the servant renders good service. However, in the spiritual world, if the servant cannot serve under certain conditions, the master is still pleased. And if the master does not pay, the servant is also pleased. That is called oneness, absolute. Can you believe this? Like you mess up big time, and the master, like Krishna, he's still pleased. And Krishna, he doesn't reciprocate, and the servant he's still pleased, he serves. Jai. That is called oneness, absolute. A guru may have hundreds of disciples, hundreds of servants, but he doesn't have to pay them. They're serving out of spiritual love, and the guru is teaching without receiving a salary. This is a spiritual relationship. There are no cheaters and cheated in such a relationship. If we accept Krishna as our son, friend, or lover, we will never be cheated. However, we have to give up the false, illusory servant, son, father, or lover, for they will surely cheat us. We may love our son with our heart and soul, but that very son may someday be our enemy. We may love our wife very much, but someday that wife may be such an enemy that she will kill us for her own interests. There are many instances of this in history. Mayavadi philosophers are afraid of having such relationships because they have bitter experience with these relationships in the material world. Oh, Krishna, something happened. Okay. They therefore want to negate all relationships. And therefore, they say no more son, daughter, lover, master, or whatever. Being disgusted with these things, they try to make everything void. Yet, if we have the same relationship with Krishna, we will never be cheated or disappointed. Our enthusiasm will increase more and more. Therefore, Krishna encourages us to accept him as our son, as our friend, and as our master. Then we will be happy. Text 39 and 40. 39 and 40. Imam lokam tathaivamum atmanam ubhayayinam atmanam anuyecheha ye rayah pashavo griha visritya sarvananyamscha mam evam vishvato mukham bhajantyananya bhaktya tanmrityor atiparaye. Translation: Thus the devotee who worships me, the all-pervading Lord of the universe, with unflinching devotional service, gives up all aspirations for promotion to heavenly planets or happiness in this world with wealth, children, cows, home, or anything in relationship with the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death. Purport: Unflinching devotional service, as described in these two verses, means engaging oneself in full Krishna consciousness or devotional service, accepting the Supreme Lord as all in all. Since the Supreme Lord is all-inclusive, if anyone worships him with unflinching faith, one has automatically achieved all other opulences and performed all other duties. The Lord promises herein that he takes his devotee to the other side of birth and death. Lord Chaitanya, therefore, recommended that one who aspires to go beyond birth and death should have no material possessions. This means that one should not try to be happy in this world or to be promoted to the heavenly world, nor should he strive for material wealth, children, houses, or cows. How liberation is imperceptibly achieved by a pure devotee, and what the symptoms are, have been explained. The situation with the conditioned soul is different, however. How different is it? How is it different? We shall read about this tomorrow. So, thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website, shravanamdiaries.com. Read these books along with us and share them with all of your friends. And yes, tomorrow is Ratha Yatra. So have a wonderful celebration, everyone. Hare Krishna.